Audible, you can reply me in chat box. You're having a chat box into the right hand side panel of this application. So you can reply me in chat box if I'm properly audible to all of you. Great, great. So all of you can use chat box to ask any questions so far. All of you are muted. All of you are on mute mode. So if any one of you having any questions so far, you can reply me in chat box. You can ask the question in chat box. You're also having an option to raise your hand. You can also raise your hand as well, and I'll unmute you. We can discuss any questions so far you're having. So let's go ahead with the webinar today. And the topic for the webinar is Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning by TechTrunk Ventures Pvt Ltd. We are a Hyderabad-based company, and we deal into training and development and some projects as well. And this webinar is scheduled for giving you the basic introduction to AI and ML and the way we take trainings on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So I expect that some of you might be from IT industry, some of you might be from management industry, some of you might be from academic background, and some of you might be from student. I mean, some of you might be students. It might be possible that you might not catch any point that any in technical term we discuss about. So at any point of time, if you have any question or anything, just feel free to ask the question in chat box. Okay. If you feel like discussing so far, so you can raise your hand or you can ask me in chat box to unmute you. I'll unmute you and we can discuss verbally as well. I hope I'm clear with that. At any point of time, if you feel that I'm going quick and you would have missed some points, you can ask me to repeat again. So let's go ahead and start with the session on artificial intelligence and machine learning. My name is Unsupervised and I'm a technical consultant for artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things at TechTrunk Ventures Pvt Ltd. And I'll be there with this particular webinar for the day. So the topic is artificial intelligence, and the question could be the basic question. Like all of you might be amazed, like I might be having some idea of what is AI, or you might be having the idea that AI is somewhat about robotics, having some intelligent machines, and artificial intelligence something that does better than humans. Well, uh, that is only one perspective of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is all about when we actually copy the human intelligence and we actually try to mimic the human intelligence, the way humans take decisions, the way humans learn, the way humans handle problems, the way humans solve the problems, the way humans recognize people, the way humans recognize characters, listen, analyze, answer, speak, question. That's what artificial intelligence, just mimicking the human capability and providing that sort of capability to a machine or a program algorithm. So a simple artificial intelligence, the simple definition of artificial intelligence can be called as a mere machine with some human intelligence can be called as artificial intelligence, or that intelligence which is not inbuilt, which is built by humans. All right. I hope I'm clear with this. So the definition says that it is a capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. So what we're going to look into this particular webinar is we're going to check after what exactly AI is and where it is used, and what exactly is machine learning, how machine learning is different from AI, some idea of a deep learning as well, and if you happen to attend the course by TechTrunk Ventures, what you are going to learn into this particular course, and some idea of one of the technique of machine learning, that is linear regression, so that you can have something as a takeaway from this particular webinar. So let's go ahead and discuss about other part. So other than that, other than this particular definition, the another definition of AI could be AI is a intelligent way of making a computer or a computer-controlled robot to think intelligently in the similar manner as humans think. That's the idea, is to make a machine think in the way the humans think, or the take a decision in a way humans take. For example, let's say that you might be using Cortana, or you might be using Google Voice Recognition API, so it can understand the voice the way humans understand. For example, if I'm speaking hello, you understand that I'm greeting you. If Cortana can understand hello, it can say you hello, yes. For example, let's say my name is Anshu, so if I say hello Cortana, it says hello Anshu, like that. It is understanding me, greeting me. It's understanding my voice, converting text, understanding the meaning of my text, meaning of my voice, and again replying me. That's what you call intelligence, the basic intelligence that humans have. They can be, if you talk about artificial intelligence, there can be three types of categories of intelligence. One could be general artificial intelligence, which is more talkative in the world, and people are moving towards it. Okay, general artificial intelligence is something kind of intelligence which could be applied anywhere, right? And it can general solve the general purpose problem that we happen to see every day. Other than that, they can be special purpose artificial intelligence. For a specific application based only, you develop some AI technique which can only be used over there, and we dig dive into that particular technology or the particular problem and solve the problem, using AI. So that's a special purpose, which is a bit of less talkative. And another is super intelligence, where the intelligence comes more than humans' intelligence, and that's what we call super artificial intelligence. So, what is more talkative in the world? What people are more discussing in the world is general artificial intelligence, and the common artificial intelligence, by having the idea of which you can apply the same technique to a number of problems. A number of problems could be solved using those techniques, and that is what we're going to learn in this particular case. So we're not going to learn a particular case-to-case kind of AI technique. We're going to learn a general-purpose intelligence which can be applied to almost every problem. General-purpose machine learning techniques, deep learning techniques, the non-machine learning techniques, including fuzzy logic analysis, genetic algorithm analysis. This sort of stuff comes under the general-purpose AI techniques. Special purpose techniques do not have that such of name because it is developed based on certain problem. Coming to next one, that is application of AI, talking about where AI is used, who is using AI. So I would say, like, in fact, out of 6,000 projects working on Google, more than 3,000 projects has been using AI, and even it is expected that almost around more than 80% of the projects in next 2 years will be implemented based on AI from Google. Not only Google, every company which is on internet, which is working with a data-driven model of business, they're all using AI. Whether just Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, any big company, social networking market to talk about, any e-commerce giant you talk about, any non-e-commerce giant even you talk about, they're all using AI for different purposes. IBM using AI for their supercomputer IBM Watson, and now, like, people who are having some judicial issues and some legal issues in United States, they actually consult to IBM Watson server, and IBM Watson server gives better suggestions than human lawyers because it has more data. A human lawyer can give answer, can give suggestion based on his experience, based on his knowledge, based on his expertise. But there's no limitation for the knowledge, experience, and expertise with a machine. For example, what 1,000 lawyers would have taken decision, what 1,000 judges would have taken decision, the 10,000 cases happen into the court, all that data could be fed into soft format to an algorithm. And in that case, an algorithm will be having better experience than a simple human lawyer. And that's where an algorithm is more efficient to help you out in terms of legal issues. And that's what IBM Watson is doing in United States. So those are a couple of special purpose applications. Talking about general purpose applications of AI, it is used for optical character recognition, handwriting recognition. Optical character recognition is one of the technique that is used by Google. When you search on Google Happy New Year, you get a lot of images in which Happy New Year is written in different formats. And even the name of images are not Happy New Year, though you get Happy New Year images. Why? Because the algorithm working on Google is also able to understand what is written inside the image, and that can only happen, it can recognize the character. That can only happen if it can recognize the character. So that's what you call optical character recognition. For example, let's say that you search for some jokes and you search for some image joke on Google, or some other like that stuff on Google, you images search you do, for example, written as hello, how are you kind of stuff. So that is all using optical character recognition. And that hand recognition is one of the technique. Just a second. Mr. Harshworthan, you're not able to see the screen. I hope my screen is visible to all of you, right? I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Let me know, all of you. My screen is visible, right? Expecting that my screen is visible to all of you. Okay. It seems some issues at your end, Mr. Harshworthan. It seems like my screen is visible to all. Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great. Okay. So, Mr. Worthan, please check out at your end. It seems some issues at your end. Or try rejoining if you are able to hear me. All right. So next, different next application is handwriting recognition. Like, whenever you write something with a hand, and for an algorithm or machine to understand what is written A, B, C, D, it takes it to learn it. So that's what in as another application of AI: speech recognition, face recognition, artificial creativity, computer vision, virtual reality, image processing. Diagnosis is one of the biggest field where a lot of developments into AI are happening these days. Medical science. Just a doctor can only take better decision based on his experience, based on his expertise, but a machine can be fed with data of 10,000s of patients, past data of 10,000 patients, and in that case a machine can even take somewhat equivalent decision as doctor can take. A better doctor, an MBBS doctor who has done work in AIMS, cannot be deployed in villages in different part of the country, but a machines can be actually deployed in different part of the country. Just give me a second. So machine having that similarity can be deployed in different part of country. So medical science is one of the field which is emerging a lot, which is using the application of AI. Game theory, strategic planning, finance, financial background, taking financial decision, calculating the credit score of a particular person, housing prices predictions, share market. All these are the biggest application of AI which is used worldwide, and people are using it a lot more. Even in we are working on some of the projects in which we are working with some of the crime agencies to detect, like with CCTV cameras. We are designing some deep learning algorithm in which if a particular let's say a critic or any faulty person is there who has done any crime, a criminal is there, by feeding a photograph of a criminal, he could be searched on network of CCTV cameras. Like that work is going on in Delhi. So in Delhi, there's like in every city we have CCTV camera network in hospitals, banks, and colleges, schools, and streets as well. So if we just collect all that data in live manner, and if you feed a data of a photograph of a criminal, which can be learned by a machine learning algorithm can easily actually search out onto the network which of like where that particular criminal can be matched up, and if he is roaming around the Delhi, he can be easily found out. That sort of applications are being developed. We're also working on some of the applications in which we are trying to resolve some issues of insurance industries. Okay, like car insurance part. People claim car insurance, and insurance industries has that particular policy that if you claim a car insurance, if your car is damaged from, let's say, left hand side part, you cannot again reclaim of for that much amount from left hand side part. So those are a couple of policies of insurance agency, and we are trying to automate those policies. So for example, if you have just claim an insurance from left hand side part of your car, if the same car is again you're trying to claim the insurance, the algorithm should deny your insurance. Algorithm should also calculate the amount of damage in your car, and based on that, algorithm should calculate how much insurance amount or claim can be redeemed to you. That sort of algorithm, which is people are working on. We are even a part of those sort of algorithms, designing them. Some subsidiary companies are also working on automating the recruitment system. Like when you apply for a job, and based on the credibility of job, based on your work part. For example, HR. For example, let's say that you are an HR. If a candidate is applying for a job, you cannot actually. Let's say that you are getting application of 100 participants, 100 candidates. A single HR cannot go through the companies in which those 100 candidates have worked and check out their profile and call to all those 100 companies, because HR is a human being, and human being cannot do that much work. But algorithm can do so. Algorithm can scan all the CVs, look after the companies in which a particular person has worked for what amount of time, again scan what those companies do and how much credit value they are having, how much market value those companies are having. Based on that, a value can be assigned to a particular person, how much market value he is having. For example, if you worked in some bigger companies like Wipro Infosys, you seem to have some better value. If you worked in a particular company, let's say in a startup or something like that, you might to having a bit of low value, credit value, like that. It will be calculating the automatically credit value, so that will relieve the amount of HR, I mean the workload of HRs. So a lot of work are going on AI in a number of industries. In India, it has just started a couple of years back, and it's gonna spread up like anything. So there's a couple of applications that I have stated over here, and there are a lot more other applications as well, which are expanding. People are trying to check out where they can apply AI into their industry. So now we'll discuss some other part of AI, like what is AI? I mean, we talk about artificial intelligence, but what do we do in that? How do we do that? How do we create intelligence? How do we design AI algorithm? That's what we're going to check out now. At any point of time, if you feel that I'm going quick, please let me know. Okay, so one of the technique of AI is like AI is all about a number of techniques into that. You see, talking about the human intelligence, what intelligence we are having. For example, you drive your car. Just give me a second. For example, let's say that you're driving a car, and once you start driving a car, you might not be able to take much more intelligent decision at the time you're starting to drive a car. By the time you get to learn the car driving part for next couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, you become more intelligent. So we humans have that learning mechanism. We learn to see things. For example, when we're child, it's something like when it was shown to you, this is A, this is B, this is C. Just looking at that for the very first time, we couldn't remember that this is ABC. When it was the same ABC was taught to us throughout the year 100 times, 1000 times, we started remembering that this is how A looks like, this is how B looks like, this is how C looks like. Later on, even a person who comes to in front of you, to whom you might not have ever seen, and if he writes A in a very different way, you will be able to recognize that because you have a learning process. And we don't actually compare that this is A if I get something like that. For example, let's say that you actually let's say that you actually write A in this manner, and if somebody's writing A in this manner, okay, let's say that's quite vague. Okay, let's say somebody's writing A in this manner, you don't actually compare if this is straight, then only it is A. This is also A. Okay, or let's say this is also let's say that this is also B and this is also B. All right. So we actually learn to recognize characters. We actually learn to recognize digits. Right. We don't actually remember them exactly. We learn. So this is called one of the learning process of humans, in which what we do, we we do a particular task a number of times. From every time you're doing a particular task, for example, you're driving a cycle and you're falling back, you're getting experience. For example, you're driving a cycle and you're falling back, you're making an accident while driving a cycle, learning a cycle, you're making an accident. That's an experience of yours. That experience helps you out to learn that when you next time go to ride a cycle, you don't repeat that mistake. That's what we do, right? When we learn something, for example, if I'm riding a cycle and I'm making a mistake, accident, I'm just hitting a particular another cycle, hitting a particular tower, let's say. I'll next time when I do the same task, I'll try my best to not to do that or not avoid doing that, which is going to make me hit to a particular tower or another cycle. So whatever task we do, we gain experience from our task. We use that experience to improve our performance next time we perform the same task. That's what we humans do, and that's what we call learning process. And that is the what learning process we imitate in machines, and that's what we call machine learning. So machine learning is just one part of AI. Other than that, there are some other techniques which are not learning techniques. For example, fuzzy logic. Let's say that you wash your clothes, right? Every day you wash your clothes, and for washing your clothes, you actually do not learn every day's experience and apply to next day. We don't actually wash your clothes and like for example, we make tea, and we don't try to improve our tea making capability every day. We actually have one single intelligence, and we don't improve that. We keep on using that intelligence every time we make a tea, every time we actually wash our clothes. Okay, we don't improve that intelligence. We have something, a fixed set of intelligence, that this should be proportion. If this much sweetness I want, if this much quality of tea I want, this much should be sugar, this much should be water, and this much should be milk. I need to mix everything. This much should be heat. That's what we have, one experience, one kind of knowledge we have. We tend to apply that knowledge every time we make tea. In that, we don't learn every time. While driving a car, driving a bike, we learn every time. We learn every day. So we humans perform some tasks in which we don't learn. We humans perform some tasks in which we learn. Both the category of task comes under artificial intelligence. The task in which we learn to do things, that is called machine learning. And there are some other non-machine learning technique. For example, making a tea, how much sugar has to be poured and how much water has to be poured and how much milk has to be poured. This part cannot be actually mathematically calculated. And something which is not mathematically calculated, on which you can apply fuzzy logic intelligence. So fuzzy logic is one of the technique of AI, which is not a learning technique but is AI technique. Okay, something which is not mathematically clear can be called as fuzzy. For example, you're washing your cloth, and you cannot actually calculate the amount of dirt in your cloth. You cannot actually calculate how dirty your cloth is. Mathematically, it cannot be calculated. You cannot calculate how dirty your cloth is. You can calculate in some way, more dirty, less dirty, very less dirty, okay, very more dirty, very high dirty. That can be done. Linguistic calculation can be done, but mathematical value calculation cannot be done. So in such a cases where we need intelligence and mathematically formulation cannot be possible, is not possible, there we use fuzzy logic. Washing machines use fuzzy logic. Intelligent AC uses fuzzy logic. We don't want our washing machine to every day improve, right? We want it to have certain intelligence and wash our clothes with certain intelligence every day. So there, in those cases, we use some AI technique which do not learns, which actually apply some technique like fuzzy logic. Similar example is GA, which we'll be learning throughout the course. So let's talk about machine learning part. What exactly we mean by machine learning? So machine learning is a technique in which we perform a task, and from that task we gain experience, and we use that experience to improve our performance next time you perform the same task. The idea of machine learning is you perform a task, from that you gain an experience. From that experience, you try to improve the performance when next time you perform the same task. So according to the father of machine learning, that is Herbert Simon, learning is a simple process by which a system improves the performance from the experience. Learning is a simple process by which a system is gonna improve the performance from whatever experience we gain. That's what we call human learning. And machine learning is concerned with computers programmed that automatically improve their performance from experience. All right. For example, let's say that you make a mistake in your simple computer program. Let's say you're writing a Java code and in that you make a mistake. 100 times you run that Java code, you're gonna get same errors until unless you correct the error. Or let's say 100 times you run a C code, you're gonna get same error until unless you correct the error. Because the algorithm is not learning by itself. It is not understanding its own mistake. By machine learning, what we make is we make computer programs to understand their own mistake. Okay. How do you do that? That's we're gonna check out. So why do we use objective why do we use machine learning, or what should be objective of machine learning algorithm? To get better at a task through practice. By practice a number of time, that's what we do. What we humans do is, how do we learn to ride a bike is you ride a bike a lot of times and do practice on that, and you get better at that particular task. And that's what the objective of machine learning algorithm is. Let the computer perform a particular task a number of times. As soon as it is performing the task a number of times, it will get better at doing that. Another part is the act of remembering data, experience, gaining some experience and using some experience, as we humans do. Okay, for example, let's say a robot is moving a simple robot is just picking one part and placing it some other place, picking and placing. If it does that part 10,000 times, it is not going to learn anything. It is going to do that same way, but we humans do, we learn from that. We remember our experience, we remember the data, when we did mistake, when we did not do mistake, like that. Generalization, similarity in new inputs, finding out the similarity into the data, generalization of data, understanding the data actually. Okay, with learning and flexibility, adapting data, adapting the environment part, that's what we do with machine learning algorithm. That's what the basic objective. We'll be checking out this again. So the concept of machine learning can be actually defined in a very proper way. Could be learning equal to improving with experience at some task T. It means you perform a task T, you gain an experience E, and with respect to experience E, you improve your experience. You improve your performance measure P. Whenever we do a particular task T, from that task we gain some experience, and every time next time when we're going to do that particular task, we want to improve our performance on that particular task. That's what we call learning process. And when a machine does that, we call it machine learning. I hope I'm clear with the idea of machine learning. All of you, let me know if I'm clear with the idea of machine learning so far. Okay, you can reply me in chat box if I'm clear with the idea of machine learning so far. Let me know if I'm clear with the idea of machine learning so far, if you're having any questions so far into this part. You can reply me in chat box. Great. Okay. So let's go ahead with the application of machine learning, where we use actually. So machine learning can be used in some of the technique called voice recognition, handwriting recognition, spam filtering, or Gmail uses machine learning technique in filtering the spam. Google News uses machine learning technique. Google image search using machine learning techniques. Google voice recognition uses machine learning techniques. Facebook photo tagging uses machine learning technique. Quora uses tons of machine learning techniques for a lot of things. For example, understanding the question has been asked 2 times, like that, or who can answer the question better based on the credibility, based on the past answers given by a particular person. Facebook analyzes that whom you can friend with that, or let's say it analyzes based on you tag your friends in a particular photograph. It analyzes who is which person. For example, who is XYZ, who is ABC, who is XYZ, who is ABC. Based on that, it understands that, and it does automatically tagging. Like in, if you just compare the performance of tagging thing of Facebook with last year and this year, it's quite better, and every time it is getting better. The reason every time you tag and you untag your friends, it's learning that who is the friend of yours. Player ranking in online games, vehicle stability system, connected cars, self-driving vehicles, computer vision, data mining, web-click data mining, medical records mining, diagnosis mining data. So these are a couple of examples of machine learning where we use techniques where you use machine learning technique. Like Quora uses answer ranking, feed ranking, top recommendations, user recommendations, digesting emails, ask to answer, duplicate questions, it understands duplicate questions, related question, spam moderation, what is trending now or not trending now. Quora uses a lot of, in fact, not only Quora, every online portal, every offline portal, every company, big or small, they tend to use AI for different purposes. And one of the big part of AI is machine learning. Now, talking about the actual type of machine learning, that's what we're going to check out is we have actually two types of machine learning. One is supervised learning, another is unsupervised learning. What do you actually mean by that? Supervised learning is called when somebody is there to teach you. For example, let's say you're riding a bike, and when your father is there to help you out, that don't do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. That's what he's supervising you. And when you go to learn bike, you on, you make some mistake, you do wrong things, again you learn, you do wrong things, again you learn. Then you categorize these techniques are wrong, these techniques are right. Okay, or these techniques I should not do, these techniques I should do. You learn on your own. That's what you call unsupervised learning technique. Okay, so in supervised learning technique, you need to have label data that this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is this is not. For example, let's say spam filtering. If you want to design a spam filtering algorithm, so you have to train the algorithm that this type of emails are spam, this is not spam, this is spam, this is not spam. First, you have to train the algorithm. Once the algorithm is trained, then algorithm becomes able to actually reply you that a particular new email is spam or not spam. For example, let's say face recognition. For example, you want an algorithm to recognize your face. You have to train the algorithm that how your face looks like from in light, in your dim environment, from left side, from right side, from front side, from top side, how your face looks like. You have to train the algorithm with a number of images. When the algorithm takes the number of images, it starts recognizing you that you look like this. So for supervised learning technique, you need to have labeled data, annotated data. For unsupervised learning, you don't need that unlabeled data. Some examples of unsupervised learning could be web click data, or let's say Google News. What Google News does is it actually, if you just go to Google and search for Google News, let's go. So Google News actually do not write its own article. On Google News, you will not find Google's article. What Google News does is it actually collects multiple articles from multiple other websites. Okay, for example, let's say indiatoday.com or bbc.com or cnbc18 or ask.in. So these are a couple of websites. So what you see Google News does is top stories, and this is the story from Types of India. Okay, and this is the story from NDTV. All right, if you check about India, and you see now you see this is Venkaya Naidu warning to Pakistan on terror. So this is the news from Times of India. The similar news is from Indian Express, and the similar news from NDTV. Now, what in this case Google News has done is it has actually analyzed the tagline, the heading of the article from a number of websites, and those which headings are common, similar up, it has just collected in a single group. Here, the Google News algorithm do not know that this news is about Venkaya Naidu. The algorithm do not know that this news is about Venkaya Naidu. It knows that this news is having common features. These articles are common and it is more trending. That's why it is placed at single place. That's the idea. The algorithm do not knows the exact meaning of the tagline or headlines. It just knows that these are having common words, common meaning, or common similarity, common sensitivity, sentiment, and that's why it has actually gathered them all together and put them on as a headlines or as a trending news. I hope I'm clear with this part, right? Google News idea. So this is called unsupervised learning. Well, the algorithm do not knows actually what it is doing, but it just fetches up the common data, the data which looks similar. It we call it clustering. We call it actually clustering. So clustering techniques are widely used at a lot of techniques at a lot of places. Image quantization, image segmentation part. Okay, in image processing as well, clustering techniques are used. K-means clustering, nearest neighbor clusterings are used in a variety of places. Right. Even in character recognition, also clustering techniques are used. Okay, so let's go ahead with the another part that is we're discussing about supervised and unsupervised learning. So supervised learning is something that when you have data which is annotated, which is labeled. Unsupervised learning is something when you have not labeled data, when you don't have any labeled data, unlabeled data you're having, and that is what you have to use for training part. For example, email spam filtering could be one of the example of a classification problem where you're classifying email as spam, not spam, spam, not spam. And that is an example of supervised learning. Classifying examples are examples of supervised learning, like tumor. If you're having a data of cancer patients and breast cancer patient, and you're able to recognize that whether a particular tumor is benign or cancerous, malignant, benign or malignant or cancerous, like what is the type of tumor. Predict an algorithm which is predicting whether the particular tumor is benign or cancerous or malignant. That's what we call algorithm. It's classifying the data in terms of three classes. And algorithm can do that even only if algorithm has been already trained with some cancer patient data, that these patients were having benign tumor, these patients were having a malignant tumor, and these patients were having cancerous tumors, like that. Is a particular lead given by a marketing agent is profitable or not? Who will be the next president of United States? So all these are a couple of examples of supervised learning technique. Classification is supervised learning technique. So classification is kind of supervised learning technique. There can be some regression example in which we don't actually talk about classes. We talk about some numerical value, like what is the market price of the house, what is the share market price next month, and what is the student's score on SAT mathematical exam, how long before this engine needs repair, maintaining predictive maintenance, all that stuff where you need a mathematical value. Those sort of values are called regression problem, and these are also comes under the supervised learning technique. Anomaly detection, credit card fraud detection, the network security intrusion, or these are all example of unsupervised learning technique. Okay, anomaly detection is an example of unsupervised learning technique because you see, for example, you train an algorithm to detect the credit card frauds. So you actually do not know in prior what kind of fraud a person is going to do, because if you would have known that, you would have already corrected your system. For example, if somebody is going to hack your system, so you cannot know that how he's going to hack your system. If you already know about that, you would have already updated your system not to be hackable in that way. So we actually never know that how a person is going to hack our system. So in that security case, what we do is we train an algorithm in which we train the algorithm, the method, how a right way, how is the which is the right way of accessing the system. When the algorithm recognizes any kind of wrong way of accessing a system, it creates an alarm, it blocks the system. That's what we call anomaly detection, detecting any anomalous activity onto the network. Recommendation system used by Amazon. For example, you search for a book on Amazon, and you get recommendation of other books based on the type of book, based on the fiction, or it's kind of novel, or it's kind of a technical book, or how much star book it is, or what kind of book you're looking for, the price, and all those stuff. You get recommendation about other books on Amazon. Recommendation system is an example of unsupervised learning. Clustering examples: summarizing news by Google, market segmentation, clustering genes, recognizing pattern topics, which other topics are having same patterns, telephone tower location, like where a telecom company has to put the tower according to the number of users in that particular area. All these examples of clustering, and all these are unsupervised learning because you don't need any labeling. So some of the methodologies that we're going to see into this particular training includes, like some of the methodologies which is actually used for machine learning includes, for supervised learning, we're going to work with linear regression, logistic regression, supportive machines, artificial neural networks. So these are a couple of supervised learning techniques which you're going to work with. In case of unsupervised learning technique, we're going to work with anomaly detection, nearest neighbor, and k-means clustering, and principal component analysis. So these are a couple of unsupervised learning technique in which we're going to work. And we'll also be working on some other techniques, including image processing using OpenCV, Python, and kind of image recognition, face recognition sort of capabilities. Okay, so how do you choose actually your algorithm is based on the data, based on success rate. This is something that we'll be analyzing if you happen to attend training. Then this is because it cannot be understood in a single explanation. So next, let's go ahead and discuss about not this one. This part is something that is not to be taken in 1 hour of training. I mean 1 hour webinar. So what we're gonna actually, if you happen to attend this particular training by TechTrunk Ventures, you what we'll be looking at is uh, you'll be able to learn about fuzzy logic analysis, linear regression, artificial neural network, support to machines, principal component analysis, k-means clustering, genetic algorithms. This is something the content, the main content of the training course. If you haven't written that, we'll be working with some of the examples of linear regression, in which we'll actually be able to train the algorithm, and we'll actually be able to take the data from the algorithm. We'll be working with some examples of linear regression along with like we'll be training algorithm to reduce its errors. Okay, and we'll be working with back propagation algorithm in machine learning programming. Okay, and it seems like a bit of tricky. Machine translation we'll be working with, and face recognition we'll be working with that as well. It seems a bit of tricky out here. So, and color quantization in images, and sentiment analysis by taking data from Twitter. We'll be also doing sentiment analysis. We'll be also learning about deep learning technique. Deep learning is something when you talk about machine learning, artificial neural networks. Into that, you make the algorithm to have multiple number of layers into multi-layer neural network with number of nodes into that, and there you actually want algorithm to itself recognize the features from the particular image or particular data. There we talk about deep learning techniques. So these are a couple of techniques that we're going to learn about this. So let me know all of you if you have any questions so far on this part that we have discussed. You can ask any of the questions you're having so far. There's a question like, is this requires any programming background? You see, what is required, what you need to have before learning artificial intelligence is, I'll tell you frankly, you see, you need to have very good idea about mathematics. AI is all about mathematics. All right, you will have to understand a mathematical way. Otherwise, you will end up only understanding the technique until unless you have understand mathematic idea. Programming is not a big deal. Programming is something we're going to take programming part from very scratch. We're going to use Python programming language, which is very easy language, and we're going to take Python programming from very scratch. Okay, considering that nobody knows programming, because we get people from finance, we get people from mathematical background who are not programmers but mathematicians, we get people from IT background as well, embedded background as well. So we actually take the programming part from very scratch, because uh, people might be from .NET programming, Java programming, people might be having other programming backgrounds. So Python programming is something that we take into this, and that we take from very scratch. All right, what we need to have ideas mathematics. There's a question like, what are topics in mathematics? The basic topics in understanding of equations, mathematical equations, how do they work? Understanding of the simple linear algebra is required, like what is matrix, what is not matrix, how do we multiply matrices, and what is inverse of matrix, like that, eigenvalues, eigenvectors, some idea about that. So basic ideas, linear algebra is one of the required part you need to have. Though we are going to take linear algebra into this session, but just teaching linear algebra in one day, that is not enough. That's what I feel personally, because that is why we used to, it used to take at least 1 year in class 11th and 10th to teach linear algebra in mathematics. So that class 11 and 10th and 9th and 10th mathematics is something required to learn AI better. Okay, so that will be there. There's a question like, I hope I answered your question, Mr. Mahesh. Let me know. I hope I answered question, Mr. Shane. Let me know. All right, and yeah, okay. So there's a question like, will you be training based on particular application or in general? See, we are going to work with a lot of applications projects. The projects includes, for example, we'll be using some data set from University of California for Irvine. Okay, if I show you that UCI data set, we'll be using some data set from here. Okay, some data set available UCI ML. So using this data set, we'll be doing a lot of projects in which, for example, cancer detection algorithm, and so we're not going to go general. That's the first part. We're not going to go on a very general part. We'll be doing some applications as well. First, we'll be understanding, like for every technique, we'll be understanding the technique. We'll be learning how to program that technique, and then we'll be learning how to use applications using that technique, how to design some apps using technique. Apps in the sense, we are not going to work with some GUI set of applications. We are going to work with programming applications. So you'll be looking at some, you'll be getting output in terms of numbers or in terms of exact core programming way, not the way the consumers get the output. So that is has to be designed with the UI part. So we're not going to work with the UI part much. I'll be showing one demo of UI, how to design UI with Python. You can integrate with that. You'll also be given assignments, projects as well that you can do in collaboration. So you see, like we're going to work with some data set available from UCI, GitHub, and some data set available from Cypher, Canadian Institute for Advanced Research. And there are a lot of data set available over here for machine learning for different techniques. For example, car evolution, we're going to use this with breast cancer, Wisconsin data set. We're going to use some character recognition data set, and similar other data set available over here we're going to use to train our algorithm. You see, like data folder and data description over here. So this data is something that we're going to use to train the algorithm and to make the algorithm understand the data. Okay, so this all this data set we're going to use throughout this training. Okay. All right. So I hope I'm clear with that. So we will be working with a lot of projects and a lot of practicals along with this, which includes like the idea of face recognition, image processing, linear regression, artificial neural network. We'll also be doing one or two examples on deep learning as well, because for deep learning you need to have better systems. So keeping that in mind, we'll be doing some basic examples of deep learning. Other than that, we'll be learning GA, genetic algorithm, and a lot of other techniques are there lined up as I told into this particular slide. You can check over here. So this is all techniques and some core techniques into this as well. There's a question: can we use ML in designing IoT application? Yes. You see, I can answer that question way better because I'm also an IoT expert. You see, like why IoT is so famous and why people talk about IoT is, you see, like all the billion-dollar companies, if you talk about top-notch companies in the world, they all business model is data-driven model. Even you talk about top 10 companies in India, which had a very good growth rate in last 5 years. You will Okay, new companies in India which had very growth rate in 5 years. I hope you will agree with some names like Paytm, Redbus, Make My Trip, and Amazon, Snapdeal, Flipkart. These companies become emerge very fast and could have very growth rate, very high growth rate. The reason is Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, they have high growth rate. The reason is when we connect to internet, we create data. And what they do with that data is they analyze their data, they're marketing. For example, you search for a shoe on Google, they keep on marketing the shoe every 3 days. Next 3 days, they keep on marketing and showing you shoe on different websites. That's what Google do. So everybody analyze data. What IoT is going to do is IoT is going to create a lot more data. And what you will be doing with data is you will be applying machine learning and artificial intelligence to provide services based on that data. You see, all only in last 5 years, if we talk about top growing companies, why they could grow is Paytm. Paytm knows when you're doing a recharge, when your recharge is going to finish, so they track the customers directly. Redbus knows you're traveling from Hyderabad to Bangalore, they track and they show you that ticket is available from Bangalore to Hyderabad. If you're a frequent air traveler or not, if you're doing this, what is your credit score, they track their customers directly. Whenever we connect on internet, we create data. All these companies track the data and provide services, and that is why they are top growing companies. Offline companies cannot do so. Manufacturing companies, Maruti Suzuki, do not know who is driving their car. Offline companies cannot track their products, cannot track their customers, what the customers want, what the customers are doing. IoT is going to provide that capability to those offline companies, and they'll be able to grow using data-driven model of business. They can do so only if they can connect devices to internet. That is what you create data, and after data, what you have to do is AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Predictive maintenance is an example of IoT data with machine learning. I hope I'm clear, Mr. Markandesh. Let me know. Okay, there's a question like what type of role we have in IT jobs. See, this is a very good question. Uh, what type of role you have is first you will get some AI engineers, machine learning developer, deep learning developers, data analytics developer, okay, data analyzer, data mining developer. These sort of roles are there into IT industry, and these days, like most of the roles are coming up on the idea of natural language processing developer, NLP. We're going to learn about NLP as well, natural language processing, which understood by people like designing chatbots and all, machine translation. That's what we have seen. So these are a couple of roles which are emerging. You can also check about the match this content, whatever the content you will get on the website. Just search about 10 jobs in AI and match the content. If you find it better, then only I'll suggest you. I'll suggest you to personally do some research before you join any course from any company. Take the content and look after some jobs into that particular field, and then match the content. Talk about which kind of jobs you get: machine learning developers, data analytics developer, and AI developer, and AI analytics team leads, solution architect, project managers. These sort of roles are available into IT industries for this sort of applications. And most of the roles are into development roles. You will find most of the roles into development roles. Quality testing also you will find. Okay, the software testing roles are also available for this part. There's a question after this course: can we manage jobs in AI? Uh, there's a question after this particular course having can you manage jobs in AI. You see, like this course will give you the skills. After this you will have to work with some of the projects on your own. That will show your capability, how better you are with this particular technique. Only the course will give you knowledge, but for applying the knowledge, for giving the interview, for doing development part, for being confident on this particular technology, you will have to do some work on your own, and that will only make you that confident so that I can grab any job into the market. Okay, only course never will give you the job part. That I can say you. Even like I'm part of company, but though I'll tell you the frank way. So you will have to actually, what they look after is, nobody, you see, having answering the question is not a big deal into market, into IT company. Anybody can answer the question just by reading two to three things and interview question on internet. You need to have something to showcase that you have done work on this project, and they'll ask question on that particular project. Okay. uh, there's a question like, based on your training, can I search job with 2 plus? I can create your point, Mr. Hussein. 2 plus is something, 2 plus, I couldn't get your point. Okay, you mean, I mean, okay, you mean, you're going to provide that knowledge. Yeah, you see, knowledge we're going to provide, we're going to learn all the techniques, we'll be also helping you out with the project that you can do. Okay, based on that, once you do the training part, you do some projects, and based on that they can search. Because, and before doing that part, you see, what important is, for example, if you're HR of a company, how you're going to hire a person for an AI job is whatever the skills you're looking for, whether that person is having that skills or not. So before, like, whether, rather than believing on my words, what I'll suggest you is, you just match this content with some of the jobs which are already available. You can simply search on Naukri and LinkedIn, which are the search jobs which are available for the AI industry or AI developer. Match the content. If you find this content is matching up somewhat, then you can decide on your own whether this is something important or not. But yeah, I'll tell you that only training is not going to help you out. With this training part, whether the meanwhile part or after this training part, you have to do at least one or two projects on your own. Yeah, there's a question, can you assign some task during the projects? That is, during the training part, that is going to be there. That is actually the part of training. Like, after every week, we'll be assigning some task. Like, if you happen to be in a regular training, it depends, like every day we'll be assigning some task. Okay, if you can manage the time, you can do the task every day. Or if you happen to be into weekend part, then you will have the weekdays to do that particular task. Okay, there's a question that, which is better ML technique to auto configure of sensors, peripherals and device? Auto configuring, Mr. Markandesh, so can you a bit elaborate it? Auto configuration means what? What kind of configurations you want to do with them? Are you trying to analyze the data, or predictions part, or something else? Can you elaborate a bit? Auto configure word. Auto configuration means what? You're trying about some protocols, like, in which protocols they're going to communicate? Is it that the interfacing part, or the baud rate sort of stuff interfacing part, or you're talking about some data, analyzing the data and doing some if and else sort of rules? Is it that? Creating configuration profile for connected devices automatically. Configuration configuration profiles. Okay, okay. I mean, what is the capability of that device? That sort of type, right? If I'm clear with that. What is the capability, like, how much bit of precision a sensor is having, how much RAM a particular system is having, how much processing speed is having, and if I'm not wrong, like, the configuration in terms of the power consumption, the valuation. Okay, it must be scalable. Yeah, yeah, that thing is possible. It's just, you need a bit of data and you can create profile. You just need a bit of data, and like, you can use any of the, like, not any of the part. The better idea is you can use neural networks for that. Okay, neural networks could be one of the better solution. Okay, and other than that, you can also use clustering technique. Neural networks and clustering technique can help you out with this. Clustering technique will not annotate the data, but it will gather same type of data. For example, a sensor is having some sending some data. Based on that, based on some data types of it, it can configure it and cluster it in a single group. So that can be done with clustering part. If you want to have the annotation with that, you can train a neural network algorithm to do that. For example, you can first train the algorithm with some data. For example, this type of sensor is having this configuration. This type of sensor is having this configuration. This type of processor is having this configuration. This type of input device is having this configuration. Once you train the algorithm with those sort of configurations, then algorithm, if you feed some new data to algorithm will be able to analyze which device it is and create a PDF file for that. That is what you can say, like, it is some creating configuration profile for your device. There's a question like, you don't have knowledge in hardware and sensor part. Can I opt for IoT? Yeah, you see, like, there we have been like training on for IoT as well, and we have seen a lot of people from IT industry opt for that, because hardware and sensor part, we take that part from very scratch. Okay, hardware and sensor part, we take that part from very scratch. Okay, considering that, because in IoT something, it's combination of embedded world plus IT world. In IoT, you don't only work on hardware and sensor, you also work on protocols, including SATP protocol, MQTT protocol, COIP protocol, cloud servers, the configuration of them. cloud servers, the configuration of those, and analyzing data. So embedded people do not stand better at protocols, cloud servers, integration, analyzing data, creating rules, and all those stuff. Some IT people do not stand better at hardware part. So in IoT course, we take everything from scratch, considering the people from both the ends. So people from IT background and non-electronics background also opt IoT, and they do IoT. They will do well in IoT as well. There's a question: are you getting training on Python from scratch in AI part? Yeah, Python is getting start from very scratch. Even the first day is going to be spent on only Python part. On around 6 hours, going to spend on only Python part itself. So Python is going to taken from will be taken from very scratch in this AI part, because every programming we'll be doing, it will be Python programming only. We're not going to check and touch any other programming language. And in every technique, we'll be doing around 60% to 70% of the part will be programming only, and doing some applications based on that. Or let me know if any other questions so far you're having. It's good to see that you all of you are taking interest and asking questions. What is the cost of training for ML techniques for IoT application? You see, we don't have a specific course for ML technique for IoT application. We have one artificial intelligence and machine learning course and one IoT course. So you can opt any of those courses. We don't have any specific course for ML technique for IoT applications. Okay, though you can talk to representative. Okay, you can call, just contact to the numbers given on the website, and you can contact on those numbers. You can talk to the representative. He might help you out with that. I hope I'm clear with this. All of you, let me know if any other questions are you having on this. Which one is good, AI or IoT? It depends on your interest and application part. You see, like, don't go in way where you find something better. It's just depends on your application. If you're good at programming part, if you want to deep dive into programming, if you love programming, AI is made for you. Okay, and if you want to explore something new, creativity part, all right, if you like something designing new devices, new systems, something inventing kind of stuff, IoT is something better. In fact, AI is also better. Invention, creativity is also there into that, but you have to deep dive into programming, mathematics, and if you love mathematics, AI is for you. That's what I can say. What is good and what is bad, it's like industry for both of them are good according to the predictions by Gartner, McKinsey, JP Morgan. AI and IoT industry are going to boom into next 5 years. Okay, so you can explore both, enter into both of them. Okay, though the opportunities on IoT will be better, even like AI is even better, like AI is even going to grow up. So if you talk in opportunity case, I would suggest AI is more preferable, but IoT is even high paying job these days, and people are doing a lot of work into that as well. You don't have a programming background. Like the question is, I don't have programming background. I should opt. What I would suggest is, like, don't take. I'll take my suggestions, but after that, also do some research on both type of industry, what the work they do, how much opportunities you are having in your region, and whatever the profile they're having, are you getting interested into that or not? So do some your own research, and then only take decision based on that. If you're having two options, then what I suggest is, if you're not having programming background, you can actually search, take some practice on programming part, then try to understand whether programming suits you or not. If it suits you, go for AI. If it doesn't, go for IoT as well. I hope I'm clear, Mr. Mahesh. So just taste programming somewhat. If it suits you better, if you love it, go for AI. I hope I'm clear, all of you. I understand that this is kind of again confusing answer, but uh, I cannot be uh, diverted. Right, one-sided. So I hope all of you, pretty clear. All of you, let me know if you have any questions so far on this part, this course part, and the technique that we have seen, the basic idea of AI, what is machine learning, what is deep learning, and what is artificial intelligence. Let me know if I'm clear with that. Any questions so far you're having on that? What is supervised learning? What is unsupervised learning? And what sort of techniques do you use for supervised? What sort of techniques that you use for unsupervised learning? Okay, it seems like I'm pretty clear with this. So all of you will be then ending up the webinar today, and thank you for being with us. And please contact for anything else, and please drop a mail to us on contact@techtrunk.in. You can drop a mail regarding anything on contact@techtrunk.in regarding anything. And if you have still any question, please ask. Okay. There's a question like Mr. Hussain is having around 6 years of SAP programming language, and how good to change AI. You see, SAP is moving a lot more towards AI, and if you are having 6 years of experience, AI is more advisable for you, because a lot of people I have seen people who are working with SAP, they are again shifting to AI as well, and they are working with AI. Like most of the CRM development companies or ERP development portal companies, they have been working on SAP, if I'm not wrong, and the management portal development companies, the solution providing companies, they have been working on SAP, and everyone has to actually uh, use AI use cases with those portals and those stuff. And it's good to change AI if you are if you are from SAP background, because that is something your experience is not going to go any different. It's going to help you out with that, and it will be added, because a lot of SAP industry want people who are from SAP. Along with that, they know AI part as well. That's the best part they can have. Or if you let me know if you have any other questions so far, let me know. Mr. Venugopal, I hope you have just joined new. So you can reply me in chat box if you have any questions so far. Yeah. Okay, there's a question like, how do we practice by ourselves? Does this require anything installed in your system? Yes. Will be actually whatever program we'll be doing, it will not be something only I am doing here. You will have to also do here in your system. You will have to install Python. We'll be mainly working on Python 3. Okay, so you will have to actually work on that as well. You have to show us, like you will be given assignments. You have to also send the snapshot of the result and the program as well, whatever you design. That part is also there, and it is included in certification part. So you will also have to do meanwhile practice, and like I'll the role of trainer is to make sure that you are also doing that. So it's a complete hands-on part. Okay, along with the theory part, theoretical concept, it's going to be hands-on as well. There's a question like, I'm from mechanical engineering background, I have 10 years of experience, and I don't know a programming skill, how can be helpful AI? You see, like uh, Mr. Gaurav Reddy, you see, like the idea is, if you're from mechanical background, if you have some interest, you see mechanical people also have been using AI. Like I have been also doing work on some self-driving car as well, and there are a lot of companies into automobile which have been shifting to that. Other than that, fuzzy logic is something that mechanical industry has been using from last decade. Okay, for some uses, for example, fuzzy logic is used in car braking system, anti-car locking system, anti-braking system, automatic braking system in smart cars, Toyota cars. It has been used. Now it depends like whether you are interested to explore that industry, that part of your industry or not. If you are interested to explore that part of your industry, okay, then you should join this course. Okay, and then you should explore this part. Robotics is one of the better example. Yeah. Okay, so if you're interested to explore that part, you can just explore the industry in which you are. Like in mechanical also, there are a lot of domains. I have talked about automobile domain. If you're from automobile, that's good. If not from automobile domain, any other domain, you can explore whether your past experience is going to help out counting out learning AI skills. Okay, so it should not be something you shift to AI and you shift to something new, because those people who are working from AI on AI or related from the last couple of years will be more better than you into this particular field. So don't completely try to change the field all at once. Try to change the field in such a way where your past experience is going to help you out, and it will be counted as something added advantage. So you have to explore actually whether your field is somewhat related to AI, or is it working on AI? Is people are working on AI or not? Or is there some solution or some scope for AI or not? You have to search for your domain in mechanical. If there is, if people are into that, then you should definitely go for that, because I have seen that most of the mechanical people do not have that AI skills, and they actually hire people, outsource people from outside industry. I hope I'm clear with that, Mr. Gaur Reddy. Yeah. Okay. There's a question that and as I don't have much knowledge on this, which would one be good to study, AI or robotics? Like Mr. Venugopal, can you tell me your background, like in which industry you are into? There's a question where and how it is being used. Can you give example? Yeah, we have actually discussed a lot of examples. We can discuss again. So you see, like Today, in fact, every industry, whether it is mechanical, programming, non-programming, any kind of industry, they are shifting towards AI. Okay, couple of applications like if I talk about AI, so we have discussed couple of general purpose applications like couple of general purpose applications of machine learning is voice recognition, handwriting recognition, spam filtering, player ranking in online games, vehicle stability systems, computer vision, data mining, web click data, medical records, diagnosis. Okay, in fact, Cora uses a lot for a lot of techniques like AI techniques includes optical character recognition, handwriting recognition, speech recognition, face recognition, artificial creativity. So these are a couple of general purpose applications. If I talk about current industry and recent applications, these are applications that Cora uses. If I talk about some recent work which we have seen, which is happening in India, includes like people are working on some security systems based on AI. For example, we have been working on some of the projects in which like Delhi Police, we have been working with like crime branch in which we're taking a lot of data from different cameras and like they are network security cameras, taking data from them rather than putting a human to do surveillance on that camera, analyze that data. We are designing an algorithm, for example, in which algorithm, if you feed the photograph or a lot of photographs of criminal, the algorithm will try to recognize that face of criminal from the network cameras across the city. And if that criminal is found anywhere, it will create a trigger with that location, and he can be found out in that way. That sort of work is going on. Almost all the CRM based companies or ERP based companies are shifting to make their portal more smarter, more intelligent. For example, like one project we have discussed is the idea of one project I'll discuss, like which is actually the combination of AI plus IoT both, which will amaze you. Uh, like Ahmedabad-based company is working on designing some product. Like they are actually a finance company, and they are working on designing some. They have actually designed that already on that project in which they are actually loan providing company, and they found out that when they provide loan to farmers, farmers do not repay the loan, they go away. That's what generally happens in India. So what they did is they had designed one IoT device for farmers, which is composed of GPS plus GSM. So as soon as a farmer is coming from loan, they'll actually analyze the data of farmer first based on the data analysis on internet data if available. For farmers, it is very less available. They'll give the device to the farmer part, and he has to actually plant that device, which will be consisting of some soil moisture sensors into his land. So once he's planting into land, device will be activated. Now he cannot remove it. If he removes it, they'll come to know that farmer has removed that, and they'll make him defaulter. So now he farmer cannot remove it. So they'll as soon as farmer is planting the device to his land, they'll get the GPS location of the farmer's land. From the GPS location, just by analyzing satellite data, they'll be getting some images from of his land from satellite imaging. Now they'll be applying some machine learning algorithm onto that to calculate the green index of that particular land. Based on green index, they'll be analyzing whether there is crop or not. If there's no crop, they'll release the first installment of the loan. If farmer uses that first installment and grows some crop, the green index will increase. They'll again release the second installment. If the green index further increases, they release the third installment. After third installment, if the green index further decreases rapidly, it means farmer has to cut the crop. They'll go back to farmer to get the loan back. So this is one example of IoT plus AI. What is this is what people are doing. Okay, CRM management portal, automating the recruitment system, automating the uh, management system. This is what people have been doing and working on. And this is like as I said, insurance management system. So these are a couple of examples where people are still working. I hope I'm clear with some applications part. You have knowledge in C, C++ and good programming part knowledge as well in other programming languages as well. That's great. uh, Once we study this course, can we directly start work on this, or does this require anyone or anything else to know before going for job? You see, like after having this training or this particular course, you'll be learning all the techniques which will make you ready to work on any project. But before going to job, you will have to have some personal experience on your own with those techniques which you want to use. For example, you are much interested into natural language processing, so you'll have to do one or two projects either during the training, like it depends on the time availability with you, either during the training or after the training. You'll have to do one or two projects which will make you capable, understandable with each and every part. This course will only give you the idea of natural language processing. We'll do a lot of hands-on in this course on natural language processing. Still, hands-on will be something that I'm doing programming over here. You're going to copy my program and you're going to do same program, understand my program. You will be only understanding part. If you want to come up to the level where you do start writing your own codes, you will have to work on some projects. Until unless you work on your projects on your own, you'll not be able to write new codes. You will be able to understand some already ready-made codes, but you'll not be able to write your own code. So until unless you come to that level, you should not go for a job into this field. I hope I'm clear with this. You see, understanding part is quite easy. That will make you understand, even will make you that better that if you see any code written for support vector machine, let's say artificial neural network, you'll be easily able to understand that. But until unless you do a project, you will not be able to write your own code. You will not be able to solve a problem and write a solution for that particular problem. uh, there's a question you asked about difference between AI and robotics. You see, if you're talking about robotics, if you're from IT industry, you might be talking about, I hope, robotics process automation, RPA. Okay, you're not talking about, like, there are two robotics. One is hardware robotics and another is RPA. So RPA is not hardware robotics; it's a software robotics part, and that's actually one technique of AI itself. So RPA is something in which you don't do programming using Blue Prism or automation. Anywhere are the two software which you use for RPA, and in that you don't actually do programming. What you do is you have some drag and drop methods and some flow programming part. You design some block diagram and block diagram flow programming, and using that you automate some system. So that's what the RPA. So RPA is having very good future. Yeah, Blue Prism and automation anywhere are having very good future. People are talking about that, and people having good industry. So you can also opt for that as well. But that's similar to AI part. But RPA is like used for functional properties. You see, like there are two cores of every technology. One is what development core, another is functional core. Functional core is what, I hope if any one of you have used Amazon or Azure or IBM cloud. So using that cloud, you get something drag, drop, connect, drag, drop, connect, drag, drop, connect, right? And you design an application at the end. For example, let's say that you can develop an Android app. So you have MIT App Inventor in which you go drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop. You connect them up, you design an application. RPA is that part of AI, that phase of AI. It is a functional phase of artificial intelligence. Okay, and what this course is the development phase of artificial intelligence. So you can choose, like, if you want to go for functional phase, this is having functional phase is having even very good future. I'm not sure about future, but it is having current market is very good. That I can assure of about that. So current market of RPA is very good. So there are two phases of every technology: functional phase and development phase. So you have to decide in which phase you want to go for. I hope I'm clear with that, Mr. Venugopal. So all of you, let me know if any other question you're having on this. Okay, so far, if don't have any question, we'll end up the session today. And thank you for being here with us. And hopefully to see you, excited to see you in next class if you happen to attend any of the course. Okay, all right. Yeah, this is actually this is why actually a webinar part in which we get only 1 hour, so we try to cover maximum part and maximum questions. So in training part, it's going to be quite a better. There's a question like uh, in AI, can we have functional as well? See, we are trying to add that part, like one functional phase of AI, like one part, one session. We are trying to add that part as well, so you can work with that. But Blue Prism automation anywhere, we are not going to add that because those are not open source software; those are paid software. So we'll not be using that, and we cannot use actually any crack version of that as well. And so we prefer using open source part. So we'll trying to find. I mean, we are working on that so that we can also include functional part as well. Most probably, meanwhile you end up with the training into the last classes, you might get one or two class with functional part as well, but we're not assure of that. But yeah, we can suggest you where you can get idea about that. I hope I'm clear with this, all of you. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for being with us, and hope to see you. And if you happen to, if you want to attend this, I mean, see this video again, this will be uploaded on YouTube, and you can check out this video of webinar again on YouTube. Thank you very much. Bye bye.